Hey, what's going on? Joey Two Legs back, and today I'm going to be covering some live racing basics for the beginner. So with live racing, there's different strategies that you can take with live racing, but I'm going to cover probably the biggest strategy, which is swapping, and then I'm going to cover the strategy that I use, which is a less used strategy, and that's running bots. So I'm going to cover both of them. There's pros and cons to each one, and we're going to go over it and get into it right now and go do some racing. So what is swapping? So when you do a swap on a live race, what that means is you're going to go find somebody that you want to live race with, and you are going to win a race and then lose a race, and then win a race and then lose a race. So you're basically winning every other race. You're swapping one win and one loss with your opponent. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, the main reason for that is because if you go out and you go into a live race and you start just winning, you may be able to do that for a little while, but then after a while, you're going to see that that's going to stop. And all of a sudden you're going to start losing all the races, and that is because the way that CSR runs their live races is they put you into what's called a live race lobby. So a lobby is a group of racers. It's anywhere from 5 to 10 racers usually, and they're going to be racers that have a good shot of beating each other. They're paired up well together. So what the lobby is based on initially is the dyno time of your car. So let me go to my Supra, which is one of my cars that I really enjoy using for live racing, and I'm gonna go to my tuning, and I'm going to put this on the dyno, and it's coming up with a half-mile time of 7.708. So that's going to come up in a lobby that dyno time falls within that lobby. So let me come back over also to my 250 GTO, which is my favorite bot racing car right now. And no, not the trunk. There we are. Okay, so let me go to tuning on this, and the tuning that I have is very specific for the bot racing. So right now I have it tuned for the quarter mile at 10.006, which is just slower than 10 seconds. And so that's going to put me in the lobby that ranges from 10.001 to 10.4, I think, is that lobby. And so all the racers in that lobby are going to be running their cars from 10.001 to 10.4, which means that I'm going to be at the fastest possible end of that lobby, and therefore have a good shot of winning every single race. The problem with the way that they run the lobbies for the live racing is that if you beat your dyno time, like say I ran instead of a 10.0, I ran a 9.8. That's faster than the 10.0 dyno time. And so if you begin to run faster than your dyno and win too many races in a row, what's going to happen is they're going to bump you into the next fastest lobby. So then instead of being at the fastest end of the 10 to 10.4 lobby, I would be at the slowest end of the 9.8 to 10.0 lobby. And so all of a sudden you're going to go from having a fast car in your lobby to having a slow car in your lobby, and so you begin to lose races. So that's why we swap. So as far as points go, your RP, most people will use swapping for generating RP. I like to use bot racing, and I'll go over that in a minute, why that works for my strategy. But let's take down some numbers and let's go do some live races and see how it goes. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my profile name and I'm going to change it to indicate that I want to do swapping. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to put a swap symbol, and then I'm going to put W/L, win-loss. Some people will put 1W, 1L for one win, one loss, but pretty much if people see any combination of that or this little swap symbol, they'll know that you're interested in swapping. So let's go out to the live racing lobby and see where we're going to pull up, and let's find somebody to swap with. So let's see, as far as swapping etiquette goes, when you're doing swaps, you have to be very conscious of who is the faster car. So see, this Muhammad is trying to challenge me now, but I don't see the win-loss in his name, so I'm gonna refuse that and wait for someone with a win-loss to challenge me, or I'm gonna challenge someone else. So, but in either case, you have to be very conscious of who the faster car is, because the faster car is the one that's going to be able to control the swap. If I'm the slower car, then I have absolutely no power over when I'm going to win. If I'm the faster car, however, then it falls onto my shoulders to make sure that I'm winning a race and losing a race. And it becomes very easy at times to get distracted and lose track of, you know, am I supposed to win this one or am I supposed to lose this one? Yeah, maybe it's easier for some people, but my mind tends to wander. I have a short attention span and I lose track of it. And so I end up, you know, either getting 2 wins in a row, which will kind of tick off the other person, or I end up having, you know, error on the other side where if I'm not sure, I'll lose 2 in a row, and then I'm losing fuel that I shouldn't be expending. So all right, let's get into it. Let's find someone that we can race with and we'll see how it goes. So I don't see anybody else that's available with a win-loss right now. We'll wait and see if someone else pops in. And this is one problem with this strategy, is you're waiting on other people to run with, and you're totally dependent on them. Unless you have a friend that you can swap with or a second account. And even then it's not easy because you have to find each other in the same lobby. So say, you know, we're all dynoing at the same time, so we should pop up in the same lobby, but you know, you're only looking at 10 racers out of however many people play this game, and it's tons and tons of people that play this all the time. So it's not always easy to find the person you're trying to find in a lobby. So if I can't find someone with a win-loss symbol in their name, then what I'll do is I'll wait for someone to challenge me. Because by challenging me, what I'm assuming is that they're looking for someone they want to swap with. So I'm accepting the race. I'm going to go ahead and race it. Now, I'm not going to worry about shifting this car perfectly. If I shift this car perfectly, I'm going to run way under dyno, and I'm going to end up getting pushed into a lobby I don't want to be in. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm skipping the nitro, and I'm just going for good or perfect shifts all the way through. And let's run that. So you can see I was the slower car there, so he's going to control this race. I have no shot at beating him. So what I'm going to do is, since I lost, I'm going to hit rematch. First I'm going to write down the RP I get. So for a loss with this car, I get 279. So you can see the rematch logo is gone already. That means he didn't wait for me to rematch him. He dropped back to the lobby. So I'm going to go under the assumption that he didn't want to do a swap. He just wanted to race and beat me. Which I don't know. I may have been able to beat him. I think even if I used the NOS and shifted properly, I probably would have lost that anyway. But let's see. I don't see anyone else coming back up, so I'm going to challenge this Marvin again, or Mavrin, and see if he does want to swap. So okay, couldn't connect to him, so that's not a good sign. I'm gonna figure this isn't gonna work out for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit back. I'm gonna drop out of this lobby. I'm gonna go back to the garage, and I'm gonna enter live racing again, and let's see if we pull up with a different lobby. Oh cool, I got an upgrade part. I'm gonna throw that on there first. This car's pretty close to being maxed, so so it's not often that I see an upgrade part pop up there, but when it does, I'll just throw it on since it's here. Okay, let's go back to race. Okay, back to live racing. Alright, so looks like we got a whole different lobby, and let's see who we can find here. Right now everybody's coming up busy. Come on, give me somebody. Somebody, anybody. Oh, this is horrible. And this is one reason why I don't like this method of live racing. Okay, so again, no win-loss in his name. Do I have a slow connection today? Why is it taking so long to connect? Well, if I can, I'm going to accept this race, but it's looking like the counter keeps... the counter's being really weird. Alright, it looks like it's switched to someone else, but he does have a swap symbol in his title. See that little recycle symbol? That's a swap symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this, and let's see if we can race him. Okay, here we go. Revving. 3, 2, 1, launch. Shift, 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 shift. 6, 7, 8. And okay, I won, so I am the faster car. So I already wrote down my RP for a loss. Let me write down my RP that I get for a win. So I'm running 1,395 for a win. And you see it just flipped back to the screen on his own. He is requesting a rematch, which means that he wants to swap with me. So I'm going to accept that and say race. We're not going to put any money on it because it's a gentleman's agreement for a win-loss. So I won that one. Now it's my turn to let him win one. So let's see. I want to lose to him, launch, but I don't want to lose too far behind him because that's going to slow down the pace of everything. So actually, I ran full out on that, you know, without the nitrous, and he beat me, which means he has the faster car. On the first race, he was just giving me a courtesy run. He was giving me a courtesy loss. He could have beaten me if he wanted to. He could have spanked me pretty badly, but he didn't. He let me win because he wanted to show me his intent to swap with me in good faith. So that's the way that you run this this win-loss swap. So my general daily strategy is to win 30 live races a day. And you see at race 1, 3, and 8, you're going to pick up bronze keys. Those are going to total 150 bronze keys. And when you hit your 15th win, you're going to pick up 15 silver keys. So if I do that twice, that's going to give me 300 bronze keys and 10 silver keys a day. And that's my goal. That's what I'm going for. The RP that I pick up from that is just kind of icing on the cake. So whatever amount that is. And I'll crunch the numbers in a little bit. Now, let me show you my other strategy. My other strategy is to run bots. So what is a bot? A bot is a racer that shows up in a live racing lobby that is not a human. It's a computer programmed by Natural Motion. So when you race a bot, you're going to get less RP than you would if you were not racing a bot. So let me go back to my 250 GTO, and this is my #1 bot racing setup right now. So as this car stands, it makes really good, well, not really good, it makes pretty good RP. For racing bots, it does pretty good. So you can see this car, because it's a Legends car, it picks up a 10% bonus. I've thrown it on one of my Elite licenses, which gives it another 10% bonus. I've added 2 out of the 3 stars that are possible on it using Elite parts, and that picks up a 6% bonus. When I get enough Elite tokens and I can complete that 3rd star, that'll bump it up to 10% instead of 6%. And then when I restore all of the Legends cars in the collection, that will give me another additional 10% collection bonus, which is not on there right now. So right now we're going to see what the RP is without the collection bonus and with only 2 of the 3 stars that are possible on this car. Let's look at upgrades. So if you're going to use this setup, you've got to have some stage 6 parts on. So what you're looking for is, you can see my Evo points at the top. I'm running 1010 Evo points. So that's the kicker. You want to make sure your Evo points stay above 1,000. It looks like, I think on this one I think I dropped off a stage 6, or do I have everything on that I'm running? Yeah. Okay, I only have 1 stage 6 on here. I've got the transmission stage 6. There's another account that I have where I did the same thing, same car. I've got an additional couple stage 6 parts on, and what I had to do was drop off a stage 6 because it was running too fast. So you want to play around with your parts and play around with your tuning, and the goal is you want to get your dyno to run just slower, or just above 10.0 seconds. And I could actually get a little closer on the dyno to that. I think I could get 10.001 or 10.002 with this setup, but I found that if I get too close to 10, then the bots don't show up. Bots are kind of finicky. They're like cats. They startle easy. So let's see, this is I've got a couple of different live racing presets. This is my 10.0 bracket live racing preset. I'll bring it over to my other preset, which is going to be my best time for the parts that I have on this car, and you see that gives me an Evo of 1188. But that's also going to get my dyno at 9.651, which is too fast of a lobby. The bots won't show up in that lobby. See, the trick with bots is you have to find a lobby where they're going to appear. If you're running too fast or too slow, they're just not going to show up at all. So let's go back to this setup. So you can see my Evo points are still above 1,000, which means I'm going to get decent RP. If I let that drop, as soon as that drops to 999, your RP begins to go way down. But as long as you keep your Evo above 1,000, you'll be good. So that's my setup. Let me show you how I run. So what I'll do is I'll go to Live Race. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I should have done this before. Let me go back. I'm going to take that win-loss swap out of my name. And I'll tell you why. It's because I don't want people to challenge me. When you're running bots, as soon as somebody challenges you... Oh, why are we frozen up? Okay. As soon as somebody challenges you when you're running bots, the bots are going to get scared off and they're going to disappear. So what I want to do is I want to go back to my profile name, and I want to take out the swap symbols altogether, and then we're going to go back and live race. Let's see who pops up. So the way you recognize a bot, so for one, they're not going to have a crew. So no crew on the bots. Second thing is they almost always have, see here's 2 right here. I'm going to race Joshua David. So they're almost always going to have 4 or 5 purple stars on their car. Another way you can recognize bots is they're always going to have an actual picture. 2, 1. Oh, I held that too long. Yeah. Horrible run, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to beat him anyway. And I'll cover the strategy here in a second. So the bots are going to have stars on their car. They're going to have a real picture. It's usually a picture of a person or a picture of a cat. And they're going to have a goofy name. Something, you know, like there's one on there, Massive Sombrero. Or there's another one on there that says, Name That Gibbon is the racer's name. So see, someone just challenged me. Before I even made it back to the lobby, this Cold Steel challenged me. And I'm going to show you what happens. I'll go back to the lobby, and it's loading, so I can't do anything. Oh, okay, that's why it was taking so long. I got another challenge. A lot of people trying to challenge me today. So when I go back to the lobby, see, I'm lucky because some of the bots stayed. Usually, oh, come on, people. Usually, if you get a challenge, the bots disappear. So this is a rough time of day for bot racing because for whatever reason, these people are just challenging me. So that's the downfall to bot racing. If you can keep the bots there, it goes really fast. You don't have to lose a race. You can just win, 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 win. But if you lose the bots, then you're in trouble. So that's where we're at right now. So what I do is I just keep going over to see if it's going to refresh and bring a bot in. If not, what I'll do is I'll run a race against a live person and probably beat them because of the way that my car is tuned. Most likely I'll beat them. And then hopefully afterwards the bots will show up. So the trick with your time to keeping the bots there in this bracket is you want your car to cross the finish line at between 10.1 and 10.3. If you run anything faster than a 10, like let's say you run 9.98, see here's a bot, I got lucky. So when you see a bot, slam it right away, make sure you get in before the bot disappears. So when you're running bots and you get back to the lobby, you need to make sure that you get back into a race as fast as possible before they drop out. So if you run faster than a 10, you're going to see they'll drop out almost immediately. So 3, 2, well, I should have let go on 2. I launched slow too. Boy, that was horrible. I'm going to hit the nitrous because I got a bad launch. Like a really bad launch. Hopefully I squeaked it out, so I'm good. I'm good. We can salvage this here. Okay, so you're going to go right back to the lobby. And sometimes if you get keys or something else like that pops up, or you have to get gas, that can scare off the bots too. Hopefully they stay, and I'll hit the next one. So, K-Bizzle. He's a bot. We're going to take K-Bizzle. So when I run the bots here, there's 2 different ways that you can race. You can run your regular pattern and then slow up at the end, or I like to run it without nitrous. And 3, 2, 1, launch. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll wind out 4th gear just a bit into the red line. And that usually ends me with somewhere around 10.2. Let's see, 10.161. So that's good. So that'll keep me running the bots. So let's keep running. Okay, we can run K-Bizzle again. Okay, and you can see how this would be faster for getting your keys, in the sense that I'm not losing any races. I'm only winning. And I didn't wind that out, like I said, so I'm going to back off right at the end. You see I dropped into 4th gear, and that slowed me up. because if you run under that 10.0, then you're in a world of hurt for the bots. They'll all disappear, and then you have to wait for them to come back again. Okay, let's go K-Bizzle again. Yeah, you can see, like, in the last couple of minutes, I've run 3 races already. So you can run through your keys really quick this way. 3, 2, let go, 1, launch, second, third. The shift pattern I use on this car, I didn't need to back it off, but I did anyway. All right, so the shift pattern that I use on this car, I'm going to run a live race, and or you know what, I'll run a bot again, but I'm just going to run it the way that I usually drive it. So the way that I usually drive this car is I go for a perfect shift, which means that I let go around the number 2. All right, so someone's challenging me, so I'm going to run him the proper way. So what I do is I shift to second and third gear around 2,700 to 3,000 RPMs. And then as soon as I hit third gear, let's see, I'll let that wind out into fourth. And when I'm going to do a perfect shift into fourth and nitrous at the same time, and then a perfect shift into fifth. So second, third, fourth and nitrous, fifth. Oh, okay, I wasn't paying attention and I messed this up, and I'm probably going to lose this race. I didn't rev in time because I was talking. I still won it, look at that. And so I got a really horrible launch. But let's see. I want to show you how to drive this car properly. And so I'm gonna shut my yapper, and this is another bot, a Blaze Rider, and you'll see that picture, that redhead, pop up a lot. So she's another bot. And another thing about the cars for the bots is they tend to be over bracketed or overpowered for their time slot. 3, 2, 1, launch, second, third, there we go, fourth and nitrous together, and fifth. So that'll beat Dino here. That'll get me under 10. And let's see, 9.868. So yeah, that beat Dino pretty good, and I can win when actual humans challenge me and I race them. I end up winning probably 9 out of 10 live races doing it that way. Now if I kept doing that over and over and over, I would get bumped into a faster lobby, and then I'd lose, you know, all the time. But by running the bots and running slow, I keep myself in this lobby, so when someone does challenge me, I have the opportunity to blow their doors off. So again, about the bots, another way to recognize them, I was saying, is that, you know, like this 10.0 to 10.4 lobby, the live players, they're all playing tier 2 cars, but the bots coming in, they're coming in with tier 3 and tier 4 cars, and I've even seen tier 5 cars running this, which means that they're set up to run with no fusions, with just stage 4 or stage 5 parts. Just ridiculous. So see, I'm surprised the bots are still here, because I went under the 10.0. So usually, most days when I race this, the bots would just completely disappear. But they stayed here today. So 2, 1, launch. And so I go second, third, no nitrous, let it go, hit fourth, and then I'm going to wind it out, and then go into fifth. Now, you don't always have to let it wind out into the red line there. Sometimes I've run this same car with a different setup, and I just hit the perfect shift, and I still stay right at that 10.1 to 10.2 where I want to be, and do that without a problem. But this particular setup, if I hit perfect shifts on fourth and fifth, then I'm going to run way too fast. So see, I ran a good time there. I ran a 10.1, 10.2, or whatever it was, but I let it sit too long. If you let it sit too long before you go back to the lobby, then you spook your bots, and see, they're all gone now. What I should have done was hit lobby right away, and then and then they'd come back. Now, maybe I can get them to come back by waiting for a minute and see if they pop up, or if I challenge someone. And when I do a live challenge, what I want to do is to get the bots to reset. I want to beat the person, but I still want to stay under that under that 10.0. I want to stay slower than 10.0. So what I'll do is I'll try to beat them, but then at the end, if I'm running too fast of a time, I'll back off at the end so that I end up running slower. Alright, so let's see. So revving 3, let go, 1, launch, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and nitrous, 5th, I'm winning, and now I'll back off into 4th. And oh, I went too slow. I actually lost that race because I backed off too soon. So that's the trick with trying to get the bots to pop back up. If you're not careful and you do like I just did, you end up losing the race. So let's rematch him. And let's see, maybe we can get it to pop up properly this time, if I hit it just right. Okay, Seth, let's see if you want to go again. That looks like he's not going to bite. Nope. Okay, so now you know the strategy. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pause the video, and I'm going to crunch some numbers, and then I'm going to come back and we'll go over the numbers, okay? Okay, I'm back. So let's talk about some of the numbers. So I'm going to pull up a pic on the screen here of what the numbers were. So we can see when we were doing the racing against the live humans, when I lost a race, my car was pulling in 279 RP. When I won a race, my car was pulling in 1395 RP. So that was a 5 Golden Star car, and it was running fast. Its Evo points were way over 1,000, and so you can figure that that's pretty realistic for most of the live racing that you're going to do, unless maybe if you had a Purple Star car instead, you might pull down a little more RP. Also, I had that Supra added on an elite license, so it was getting an extra 10% RP boost for that. So running for the 30 races you need to get your 300 bronze keys and 20 silver keys, I would pick up from the 30 losses, I would pick up 8,370 RP. From the 30 wins, I would pick up 41,850 RP for a total of 50,220 RP. Now, that was running the live racing. So running bots, I was picking up 947 RP for a win. So running 30 bot races would get me a total of 28,410 RP. So what does that mean? So in equivalency, when we look at them both together, that means that for me to pick up the same 50,220 RP points that I got racing live humans in 60 races, I would need to win 53 bot races. And so it's actually less bot races that I need to get the same RP, even though I'm getting less RP per win. But with the bots, I can go through a lot faster, as long as the bots are not disappearing all the time, as long as I'm not having like a really bad bot racing day. and I don't have to worry about finding someone to swap with. Are they going to do 10 races and then stop and I got to find somebody else? Am I going to try and swap with somebody and I lose the first race and then I try again, and instead of swapping like they're supposed to, they just beat me again, so now I lost twice. So what have I gained? Nothing. So there's all these frustrations that come along with live racing that you don't have with bot racing. The other thing with bot racing is if I'm tight on time for the day and I want my keys, I can still run out my 30 races and then stop. I got a little less RP for the day, but I've got my keys and I can stop playing. But on most of the days, if I want to continue and pick up that 50,000 RP, then all I have to do is race another 23 races, and I've won my 53 races and picked up my 50,000 RP. The other thing is, even when you're running bots, you're going to run some live people in between the bots, and every time you do that you pick up a little extra RP, so that 53 races begins to whittle down to 50 to 47 to 48, less and less, where you don't have to run as many as that 53 races to get that 50,000 RP. And even if you do, it's still 7 races less than the 60 that you would have to run to pick it up swapping. Or more, depending on if you get a jerk of a player over and over. You might have to run a lot more than 60 races to get that 30 wins if people keep taking advantage of you. So anyway, that's my strategy. You can swap, you can use the bot racing. Either way, it's up to you. I use both from time to time, but mostly I use the bot racing. So I hope this helped, and if you liked it, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. And if you have any comments, I'd be happy to answer anything, and I always love feedback. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Joey Two Legs out.